Mark your attendance. Mark your attendance in the chat box. Switch on your cameras. Dalid and Shakar, I'm still waiting for you to switch on your cameras. Dalid, you the only one left. Okay. Okay. Yes, please. Um, I I'd like all of you to open up to page number 138 of your student book. 138 of your student book. We'll be covering the topic autobiography in the theme food. The theme for this unit is food. The first topic we're going to cover is an autobiography. What is an autobiography? Any idea?
An autobiography is when you don't do the biography yourself, you do it, someone else does it for you.
And over here, this is basically going to be an autobiography of um, this person, Nigel Slater. Okay, now Nigel Slater, uh, who has been given the award of the Order of the British Empire, that is the Queen. Like for example, we have Sitara Imtiaz and Sitara Jurrat, etc. over here. Tamgha Imtiaz, Sitara Imtiaz over here, right? Which are the awards given to civilians for some work that they have done um, for the improvement of the country, for the good name of the countries, right? Similarly, the OBE is a British award given to the civilians, and Nigel Slater has received one of those as well. Now he's an English food writer. Oh wait, okay, thank you, Ali. He's an English food writer, journalist and broadcaster. He has written a column for the Observer magazine for over a decade and is the principal writer for the Observer Food Monthly supplement. Prior to this, Slater was food writer for Marie Claire for 5 years. He's basically um, a food chef and writer as well. Okay, he has his he's most known for his cooking books, cookbooks and all that. um, he was born in 1958 and currently he is at the age of 62. The extract that we're going to read today is from his autobiography called Toast. The one on the right, the one which is white in color with the toast on it, is the original um, cover for the book, whereas the other one was the later on the hard paperback version. You see, books come in two versions. You have the softer one, the ones that are bendable, and the ones that have the hard copies. The one on the right where you can see the picture of young Nigel, that is the paperback sorry, hard paper, whereas the one in white is the paperback version. So basically, this is his autobiography, and in this story, if you can see, the complete title is Toast: The Story of a Boy's Hunger. So this is a story where this book is about his childhood, how he developed his love for food, and later on how he grew up, the things that he came across, losing his mother at the age of 9. These were all important events in his life which have been captured. Here is a little review that I found for the book. My mother, this is the opening, the lines given over here, they are the opening lines to the book. My mother is scraping a piece of burnt toast out of the kitchen window, a crease of annoyance across her forehead. This is not an occasional occurrence. My mother burns the toast as surely as the sun rises each morning. Toast is Nigel's award winning biography of a childhood remembered through food, whether calling his mother's surprisingly good rice pudding, his father's bold foray into spaghetti, and his dreaded Boxing Day stew, or such culinary heights as Arctic roll and grilled grapefruit, then considered something of a status symbol in Wolverhampton. The remarkable memoir vividly recreates daily life in the 1960s suburban England, likes and dislikes, aversions, and sweet toothed weaknesses from a fascinating backdrop to Nigel Slater's incredibly moving and deliciously evocative portrait of childhood, adolescent, and sexual awakening. He grew up to be from the LGBT community. All right. Um, the topic we are going to cover today is spaghetti bolognese. I asked you guys to search a little about it yesterday. This is what spaghetti bolognese looks like, and basically, it is a sauce. Is Bolognese is a sauce, um, meat based sauce in Italian cuisine, typical of the city of Bologna. It is customarily used to dress tale da al ragu, which is basically the tomato paste, and to prepare lasagna alla bolognese. Lasagna are those flat pasta strips, and spaghetti. When you pour the same bologna sauce on spaghetti, it turns into spaghetti bolognese. Then comes the city of Parma, which is considered the capital, the cultural capital of Italy. This is the city where the Parmesan cheese comes from. Uh, it is an Italian hard granular cheese produced from cow's milk and aged at least 12 months. It is named after the producing areas, the province of Parma, Reggio Emilia, the part of Bologna west of the Reno and Modena, and the part of Mantua on the right south bank of the Po. Po is the river. Okay. This is basically what a block of Parmesan cheese would look like. They come in hard, rounded, wheels. And you cut pieces out of it, and then later on, you grate it, and it becomes powdery substance like this. Yes, Vali, just like that. And the big block is the portion where which you grate on top of a grater, and you get the granular processed version of Parmesan. It comes in bottles like these, which have lids on top. And when you open up the lid, just like a salt and pepper shaker, you can sprinkle the cheese on top of your food. Okay. Be ready because there are. Oh, who else joined us? Ahmed joined us. Okay, fine. In a little while, I'll start asking you guys to start reading the text for me. Okay. This text comes from the autobiography of Nigel Slater, who grew up in the 1960s. He's a very well known cookery writer. Here he records the first time he tasted spaghetti bolognese, which originates from Bologna in Italy and is now a very popular dish in Britain. But back in those days, people in Britain, they did not eat foreign food. They only ate, the true English meals. So these things, they were, England, you can say that it was interacting more and more with the foreigners, with the outside world, and people had started adopting the foreign ways and the foreign meals as well. And is now a very popular dish in Britain. But back in those days, in 1960s, it was not very common or popular amongst people. The Parmesan cheese traditionally sprinkled over the meat and tomato sauce is a very hard cheese with a very distinctive smell and comes from Parma in Italy. Remember, Parmesan cheese, or like the normal cheese, has a little pungent taste to it, isn't it? And Parmesan cheese is, compared to the regular cheese, it has a very, pungent smell and, similarly pungent taste as well. Aunt Gertie is the elderly aunt of the boy's father who lived with the family. Right on. Um, Shakar, I'd like you to take a start today. I'd like you to start reading the first paragraph.
Neither Aunt Gertie nor Mum has eaten spaghetti before, and neither have I. Dad is waiting for the water to boil on the stove. The sauce is already warm, having been poured from its tin a good half-hour ago, and is sitting on the cool plate, giving just the occasional flip-flop. When the water finally boils, my father shakes the strands of pasta out of the blue paper that looks like a great long firework and stands them in the bubbling water. They splay out as the water comes to the boil. He tries to push the spikes under the water.
Yes, yes, continue, please.
They'll never all go in, he snaps, trying to read the packet. But even when read vertical is in Italian,
Bifocals.
some of the uh, brittle sticks break in half and clatter over the hot plate. Will I like it, Daddy? I asked, half hoping he'll change his mind, and Mom will pick us some tops. Just try it, he says, a somewhat exasperated tone creeping into his voice. Just try it. I think you should put some salt in, chirps in, Mom.
Yes, yes, yes. The paragraph ends on the next paragraph underneath the picture.
Auntie Gertie is looking down at her lap. Do I have to have some? He said. I think she's going to cry.
I think she's going to cry. Now, a few things that you need, I just want you to understand. Bifocals are, the kind of glasses that have a dual lens in them. The same lens has the second set of lens, cut in them. The bigger lens is for the longer distance so that you can view things afar, whereas the tiny bit on the bottom, it is cut for the vision, for the nearsighted vision. Spaghetti, when it looks like fireworks, how would it look like fireworks? When you open up a pack and put it in a container, or when you hold it in such a way, see, it looks like a firework. And where this is how Nigel's father was cooking the spaghetti. And as you can see in the background, the oven, the stove top that they have, it is called a hot plate. Okay, they don't have burners like us. They have the electric, stoves, so which are called hot plates. um, Over here you can see that the spaghetti initially, when you put it in, if you want to have the longer strands, the full length strands, half of it is supposed to stay out of the water, and slowly all of it goes in and all of it softens together. Now, the important chunks are that none of them has tried this dish earlier on, and you know the sauce has been prepared pre-hand. The sauce has been prepared from a tin can. It was poured. His father had first prepared the sauce, and he has warmed it up, took it out of a tin, and warmed it up in a saucepan. And now it was, what was it doing? What kind of sound was it creating? Aman, what kind of a sound was the sauce creating? Again,
A blip blop.
blip blop. So, what kind of a word is blip blop? Is blip blop a real word?
No, it's
Onomatopoeia.
an onomat
Very good. That's
onomatopoeia.
onomatopoeia. All right. Now, it has been half hour that the sauce has been placed on the warmer,
Oh, wow.
on the cool plate, sorry. And he would stir it occasionally so that the sauce will not, stick in the place, or, it wouldn't dry up. And what happens next is he pours the pasta in the bubbling water, and he tries to read the package, by setting his bifocals, and he's like, oh, it's supposed, not supposed to, all of it is supposed to go in, as if, reading, focusing on the package will change the Italian, or make him understand anything, because the packaging has been written in Italian. They, being English, they do not understand Italian. Now, the most important thing is the way Nigel reacts to things, and the way Aunt Gertie reacts to things. You have to keep both in mind, okay? Remember, Aunt Nigel is, Aunt Gertie is the aunt of Nigel's father. So she is quite of quite an age, okay? Now, what does she say? When he asks his dad, will I like it? How does his father respond, Rafi?
He says, just try it. It'll be good and all.
What kind of a tone does he use?
Mm, angry?
Sort of. Exasperated is when you are frustrated, okay? When you have tried something and you're not, you know, achieving it, you get a little, mad in your head, and you
वो कर
don't.
लो यार वो लिटॉन.
हाँ, exactly. खुद कर लो ना. Your sibling would say, talk like this, or sometimes your parents, when they are tired, they would talk like this as well. Okay.
जी.
And then mom gives in an idea that he should put some salt in it as well. And now Aunt Gertie, she says, "Do I have to have some?" It's as if some sort of, she's being forced to eat. Yes,
Like a five.
Ahmed, I'd like you to read next.
I think it must be done now, says my father 20 minutes later. He drains this little length of spaghetti in a colander in the sink. Some are escaping through the hole and curling up in the sinks like nest of worms.
Hmm.
Quick, get the plates, they are getting away. We all sit the starving they're
Okay.
starving at our piles
Staring at our
on our
files.
of
Staring.
pasta on our staring at our piles of pasta on our plates. Oh, I don't think I can, sobs Auntie
Gertie.
Gertie, who then picks up a long, sticky strand with her finger. No, wait for the sauce, Gertie mom sighs, and then come on, Daddy, hurry up. Dad spoons the sauce, a city of reddish brown mines that smells foreign over the knot and twirls of pasta. Suddenly, it all seems so
Grown up.
grown up, so
Sophisticated. Sophisticated.
sophisticated.
Yes, okay. Now, the important things are again, notice how things are happening very quickly. Okay. Dad says after 20 minutes that they must be done now. And, he drains them in a colander. I'll show you pictures of colander. See, this is a colander. You must have one in your home as well. This is how you drain spaghetti. And can you see in the second picture how some of the spaghetti is escaping the holes like little worms? And then obviously they're going to make a little nest in the drain portion of the sink, isn't it? So that's about that's the only important thing for which I needed to show you a pic. Other than that, quickly get the plates. They're getting away. That is, they're all escaping. So quickly get the plates so I can put them in individual servings. We all sit there staring at our piles of pasta on our plates. Um, the pasta has been, divided into portions for all of them to eat. And then Gertie, no, she sobs, "Oh, I don't think I can, that I can't eat it." And she tries to pick one up with pick one strand with her finger, and then mother, she is also, by this time, mom is also frustrated, and she's like, "Oh, wait for the sauce, Gertie." And then she asks her husband to hurry up with the sauce. He spoons, a load full of the red brown mince that smells foreign. What do you think the word foreign means over here?
Foreign means outside.
Okay, but how does something smell outside?
Kharab.
Not exactly.
New.
New, very good. Something which is new, something which is different. Okay, this is a kind of a smell that they have never smelled before. Okay, okay. Over the knots and twirls of pasta, suddenly it all seems so grown up and sophisticated, while the grown up Aunt Gertie is acting like a, is she acting grown up?
No.
How is she acting?
She's
She
acting
is
like a
acting like
5-year-old,
a kid.
Like a kid. And how is Nigel acting?
like a
Um,
23-year-old man.
Like a grown up person. Because for him, suddenly it all seems so grown up and so sophisticated. Okay? It is a complete opposite, a complete contrast between the two people. Yes, Waleed, I'd like you to continue.
Mum wraps the strands round her fork. Like this, do it like this, she says, and then shovels it towards Gertie's wet pink little lips. Most of the pasta falls down Gertie's skirt, and the skirt
Yes,
uh,
and a little.
and a little of the sauce gets caught on her bottom lip. She licks it off and shudders.
Okay.
It's horrible, she
Okay.
wails.
Okay. Yes. Now, notice how Gertie is responding to the situation. She's acting like a little child who doesn't want to eat something new. Okay, and isn't that what even you would do, isn't it? um, Often what happens is when a little child is offered something that he doesn't want to eat, this is exactly how the child behaves. The other day I made some pilaf, and I offered a spoonful to my son, and even before while I was putting it in his mouth, he would open up a the wee bit mouth because he didn't want to eat it. And same goes over here for Jerty. She doesn't want to eat, so she's opening a wee bit, tiny hole for her mouth. And what happens in that, because of that, the most of the sauce falls on her clothes, and she doesn't get to eat it properly. And because she doesn't want to eat, she hasn't even tasted it, and she's wailing is, but she's shouting out loud, making a whole throwing a tantrum. It's horrible, it's horrible, it's the worst thing that she's tasted. That's what she says. Rafe, I'd like you to continue.
Ignoring Gertie's little tantrum, I do as mother bids, twirling the pasta around my fork while shoveling the escaping pieces back on with my spoon. I rather like it, the feel of the softly slippery noodles, the rich sauce which is hot, salty and taste partly of tomato, partly of bovril. I wouldn't mind eating this every day. Unexpectedly, my father takes out a cardboard drum of grated Parmesan cheese and passes it to me to open.
Thank you very much, Waleed.
What's
I'd
that you
like you
got
to come
here?
back. Waleed, sorry, I thought I had made him, that was all of it. Waleed, I'd like you to read the rest of the paragraph.
Okay, ma'am. Sauce which is hot, salty, and
What's
tastes
that you've got
partly.
there? What's that you've got there?
Wait, ma'am.
A few lines below.
एक second.
We are on the next page, page 140, fifth line. I'm so sorry. I thought that the paragraph had ended on the previous page. I wasn't reading from the book. Waleed. Okay, Rafi, can you continue? I'm so sorry.
यार भले नीचे लिखा है वैसे आंखें हटा नहीं की अल्लाह ने
He has
आपको
muted himself.
आँख खराब हो
What's
रही हुई है
that?
ना क्या?
अच्छा अच्छा ठीक है. Yes, please, Waleed. Continue.
बस ठीक है मैम, राफी पढ़ लेते हैं, वो कह
अच्छा,
रहे हैं उसकी
I'm so sorry,
रिएक्शन।
Waleed. I'm so sorry. Yes,
मैं आप डिसाइड कर लेंगे
yes.
से पढ़वाना है
Anik,
आपने हम
Rafi,
पे
please,
कर लेते
please, 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 Rafi. Yes,
हैं कौन पढ़े अब
yes, you, please, Rafi.
What's that you got here? Asked mom. It's grated cheese. You have to sprinkle it over the top. It doesn't work if you don't. No, we're talking. I peel away the piece of paper that is covering the hole and shake the white powder over my sauce. I pass it to my father, who does the same. Mom declines as he usually does with anything unusual. There is no point in asking Aunt Gertie,
Why is there no point in asking Aunt Gertie?
but she already wailed.
Yes,
She's
because
used.
she's not going to eat something that's new. Okay, this is how you twirl the pasta on the fork, especially these long noodles, so like spaghetti sort. Okay, you must have, maybe you guys do it too. And bovril is basically like the Vegemite the Australians eat. It is basically a spread of
इट्स
sauce.
लाइक न्यूटेला।
Yeah, but Nutella is a spread made out of chocolate and nuts. This is a spread made out of meat. Okay, and this is very. It is said that it's very high in proteins, and it gives you a lot of strength as well. Very strengthening. Okay, Aman, I'd like you to end the session today.
Dad shakes the last of the cheese over his pasta, and suddenly everyone goes quiet. I'm looking down, but I can see my father out of the corner of my right eye. He has stopped, his fork in midair, a short strand of spaghetti hanging loose His eyes have gone glassy and he puts his fork back down on his plate. Daddy, the cheese smells like sick, I tell him. I know it does, son. Don't eat it. I think it must be off. We never had spaghetti bolognese or Parmesan cheese again, or for that matter, ever even talked
Talk
about it.
about it. Okay. So what mistake had Dad done?
The cheese,
How much? How much do you think he placed on top of his sprinkled on top of his pasta?
um,
A lot or a little?
a lot.
A lot. And that sudden taste was too much for him to bear, and made him go glassy eyed. What do you mean by glassy eyed? His eyes had gone glassy.
आंखें अंदर चले जाना.
No.
His eyes were watering.
His eyes were watery. The taste was so pungent, it was so powerful that he couldn't take it, and it was something absolutely new for him. Okay. It happens, isn't it? That you taste something for the first time, and where the morsel in your mouth, it's just there, and you don't know whether you should gulp it in or spit it out. So the same goes over here. And so it was the cheese that really got them off, and they never ever spoke about spaghetti bolognese in their house ever again. Although it
No, Mum,
yes,
that's the natural smell of spaghetti, of the cheese.
of the cheese, yeah. And see, it was new to them. It was absolutely new for them, and that's what made them, you can say, it got them off, and they didn't want to try the rest of it, and he said, just leave the whole of the meal, and don't even eat the rest of it, because it's going to, just like it smells sick, it's going to make us feel sick. If you look into Nigel's cookbooks, you will find remarkable recipes for spaghetti bolognese. All right. Do you want me to give you some homework? Your homework
No,
are,
man, please.
नहीं वही homework तो मिलेगा. The 10 question,
Ma'am, nobody
मैम
wants
ये इतनी सी
homework.
स्टोरी के 10 क्वेश्चन.
the answers are going to be very tiny, single line, one word, or very small answers. Okay? Okie dokie. I have discussed the session keeping the questions in mind. Okay. So I'm sure you will have no problem um, in attempting the questions either. Okay. Thank you so very much.
मैम इतनी जल्दी क्लास एंड होगी.
है ना?
9:40 हो रही.
It's time for your next class, and it's time for my next class. Okay, thank you so much, children. Have a blessed day. Allah Hafiz.